Hey bells, hey new subscribers, hey old subscribers, OBs, old bells, hey girl, hey. Today we're going to talk about basically how I got pregnant fast. Contrary to popular belief, it's really not that easy to get pregnant unless you're a super fertile girl. Now if you're like myself and you're not fertile at all, because I am definitely not fertile. I'm not infertile, but I'm not a fertile girl where like I could just have sex and get pregnant. Like, it's just not me. So if you're not a fertile girl and you are like, I've been trying to get pregnant, I don't know what's going on, the doctors say everything's normal, and I want to know how to get pregnant, follow these 5 tips and I guarantee that you'll be pregnant by the end of the first month if you do all of these 5 tips. Also, if you are medically unable to have kids, this will not work for you because it's a medical condition. Now you could try it and maybe it'll work, I'm not sure, but I know that this is for people who are not medically unable to have kids. Alright, so let's jump into the video. Know when you have your periods, know different feelings in your body. Since I started having my period around 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, just depending, maybe 10 days after I have my period, I would always get this cramping and this pain, which is kind of similar to when I start my period, because my cramping isn't super bad, but I always feel like uncomfortable. And then when I have sex around that time, I feel uncomfortable. Well, as I got older, I realized that I'm feeling my ovulation. It's like I think 1 out of 3 women will feel their ovulation. So that's a step up in the game. If you feel your ovulation, that helps because you know your body, you feel your body, you understand what's going on. So I felt the pain of ovulation. Now, later I found out that I felt the pain of ovulation stopping because I thought I felt like the egg. I was like, oh, I feel the egg. Like, this is when we have to have sex. No. Your cervix is high during the month when you're not, ovulating. There's no egg, nothing. And then it drops when it's ready for it to open and for the sperm to come in. That's what I was feeling. I was feeling the movement of my cervix, and that's around ovulation time. But I couldn't pinpoint exactly when ovulation was, when it started, and when the egg dropped. But I thought, I learned my body. I figured out what I'm sensitive to, what I'm feeling, inside, outside, everything. I just learned myself and my body. Track your periods. I used to use a woman log app on my phone and I would just track my periods. It has a backup where it sends the tracking of your period to your email, so you never lose it. Even if you get a new phone, you just get a new app and you put that on there and it has a code for you to put in there. I used that for the longest, even when I wasn't trying to get pregnant. So just track your period. Figure out what day your cycle is. Like if you have a 28-day cycle, if you have a 26-day cycle, if you have a 15-day cycle. Like, it's very important to know how many days estimate is your cycle time, because that's very important in trying to get pregnant and trying to pinpoint when exactly you ovulate. For the average woman, textbook says if you have a 28-day cycle, then you're going to ovulate on the 14th day of your cycle. Not 14 days after your period, but the 14th day of your cycle you're going to ovulate. Now, this totally threw me off because I was like, well, I feel the ovulation pain about 2 days before that. So around the 11th or the 12th, I started feeling the ovulation pain. And I'm like, if I feel the ovulation pain around then, am I feeling the beginning of ovulation and then this is when I ovulate? So I would always try to have sex on the 14th day of my cycle, but it just wasn't working. So I figured out that that is wrong for me. Every woman is not the same. This is just a textbook average woman. So yeah, just because you have a 28-day cycle, it doesn't mean you're gonna ovulate on the 14th day. A lot of apps actually say that and they'll be like, oh, this is when you're ovulating. That's totally false, totally not true. So definitely, like I said, feel your body, figure out when am I ovulating. Basically, if you do not feel the pain of ovulation, I'm going to let you guys know a easier, faster, really good way to figure out when you're ovulating. Every month, a woman's temperature in her body changes around ovulation, around her period, around different things in the month. Your temperature will drop. The lowest temperature it drops to is the days that you're ovulating or the hours that you're ovulating. So definitely take advantage of that. You would temp every morning around the same time. So before you even get out of bed, you'll figure out a pattern and you'll figure out, this is the lowest every month. So these are the days that I am ovulating. Also, you have to get a specific thermometer for this, which is the basal thermometer, and you can get those at the drugstores, stuff like that, because these are the most sensitive to your temperature. If you use a regular thermometer, you're not going to get the right results, the same results. It's not going to be exactly accurate. So definitely go pick you up one of those and start charting your body temperature. It might kind of gross people out, but if you're trying to have a baby, nothing will really gross you out. Trust me. When I was trying and really trying to have Mimi, nothing grossed me out. It's my body. Like, I need to learn what's going on. I need to figure out how my body reproduces. That's basically what you're doing. You're figuring out your insides and trying to figure out and pinpoint when your egg drops. Chart your cervical mucus, which is aka your discharge that comes out of your body and your girly parts and your areolas downstairs. Okay, listen, okay, the stuff that comes out of Kirsten is what you need to start charting. Now, it's different every specific spot in the month. It changes. A lot of people might notice that you might need to wear panty liners around this time of the month, or you need to wear more, you need to change out your panty liners more around this time of the month. Usually that's around the times that you're ovulating. When it's around ovulation time, it changes and it makes it better for sperm to swim to where the target and the area in the egg it needs to get to. Okay, so that's basically what it's doing if you didn't know why it changes. So at the very beginning of the month, it's going to be dry or sticky. Then it turns into a creamy, like lotion kind of, you know, substance. Then it turns into a wet and watery substance. Then it turns into a raw egg white consistency. And then at the very end, it's back to dry and sticky. When you see that it's at the egg white kind of consistency, that is when you're ovulating, right around those times. Of course, you're not going to be able to pinpoint the exact hours and the exact moment when the egg drops by that, but it can give you an idea while you're doing all the other steps. You can put that all together to help you verify, like, yes, I am ovulating right now. I just need to figure out when my egg drops. Also, big tip, a lot of people don't know, do not use lube when you are trying to have a baby. Lube can kill sperm. Lube is not healthy for sperm at all. It doesn't give it the ability to swim like it needs to swim. Like, it might actually lower your chances of getting pregnant. Like, if you put training wheels on your bike, it's going to slow down your bike. So that's basically what you're doing. You're putting training wheels on his stuff. Don't do that. Stop it. Well, you're probably like, when you're trying to get pregnant, it's not super sexy. So it's like, I need a little something to get me going, right? This I swear by, okay? When we were trying to get pregnant, this is all I used. The only reason I used it was because it specifically kind of pushes the sperm to where it needs to go. So it's very, very helpful in that. Even if you don't need it, I would suggest buying it because it mixes with the way your cervical mucus is supposed to be and it gives it an extra boost. It's called Pre-Seed. It might be a little pricey. I think it was about $20. I'm not sure. I got this from CVS. It's not weird that I still have these things, okay? Well, it might have expired by now, but I just hold on to it just so that I can remember, just in case I need to duplicate another human being, okay? It's fertility friendly, personal lubrication, safe for use when trying to conceive, and it's doctor recommended. So you get about 9 applications, and with only a 20% chance of conceiving each month, because that's all we get in a month, ladies. For an average woman, it's 20%. For me, it was like low. It was like probably 10% chance of getting pregnant, and I'll tell you why in a second. Honestly, like, I swear by this. Like, this got me pregnant, y'all. This is one of the things that got me pregnant. I have been doing research for 4 months. And we had tried for 2 months. The first month I didn't get pregnant, and the second month I did. And that is because I switched it up and I used Pre-Seed. So definitely check that out. Do your research and start using Pre-Seed while you're trying to conceive. This is like the top #1 reason I got pregnant. So it was Pre-Seed was probably the close second. The very first one was ovulation prediction kits, which are like OPKs is what people call them. This is like, you know, in the fertility, you know, community. I was a part of that. Get you an ovulation kit, boo. Go to your Walmart, go to your Kmart, go to your Target, get you one. And the one you need to get, because the first one I ever got, I bought them off of eBay. They were the little cheap little strips where you can get pregnancy tests like this, the little strips, and they're just cheaper. I don't have them right now, so I can't really read the directions, but I think what they do is you get the two positive lines when you're ovulating, and the darkest that they are is when you're ovulating that day. So it doesn't tell you exactly what hours you're ovulating, doesn't tell you, you know, you're done ovulating. Like, it gives you basically for 3 days, it gives you these two lines, and whenever it's the darkest, you're supposed to be like, oh, I'm ovulating, which is the hardest thing ever to pinpoint because of the way that they look. If you've done this, you know what I mean. It's the hardest thing to pinpoint ever. So also, women, you might not know this, but women have about a 48-hour window to get pregnant. And like the box said, you have 20% chance to get pregnant every month because you have a 48-hour, you know, window of when you're ovulating. It could be from, you know, 48 hours to 2 hours. You don't know when exactly your egg stays put. So your egg comes down for like a second, like, oh, peekaboo, hello, and then it just slides away. So what I figured out when I was using this, my next one, after I started using those strips, I was like, no, I need something better. I got the clear blue. Again, this is not weird that I still have this, okay? Yes, this was like 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, probably 2.5 years ago. Doesn't matter. I keep these things because I want to have a reminder of how I got pregnant so fast. So, these clear blue digital ovulation kits. It gives you a smiley face right here when you're ovulating, and it gives you nothing when you're not ovulating. Basically, it tells you exactly when you're ovulating. If you're not ovulating, if your egg is not there, it tells you your LH surge. So if your egg is not there, it's not going to say you're ovulating at all. You might be ovulating, your body might be changing, getting ready for ovulation, or it might have already ovulated, but it will not be like, yes, you're ovulating today. Okay, so this is when I figured out that my window is very small. My window to get pregnant is about 3 hours. I literally have around 3 hours, might be a little bit shorter than that, for my egg to fertilize my egg, that my egg sits there and waits. It's probably a little bit about 2 hours. So what I did was, how I figured this out was I did this in the morning. I got the smiley face, and we had sex like rabbits, okay? I used the pre-seed, went back about an hour later, so this was in 2 hours prior I had used the ovulation test. Went back, tried it again just to see if I still had the smiley face so that we can do it again later. I had no smiley face. It was just a circle. So I know that my egg does not wait. She's very impatient. She don't play them games. Like, are you here or are you not? No? All right. Peace out. My egg she don't play games. She's real gangster. Like, no. All of my eggs. They're in a hurry. They have shopping to do. So I found that out, and that was very, very helpful for me because I was like, you know, me and my husband, we've been together 7 years. Like, we don't use condoms. You would think I would just end up pregnant. That's what we were expecting to happen after we got married. I hadn't been on birth control for about 3.5 years, almost 4 years before I got pregnant with Mimi. So to me, in my head, I was just like, I just can't get pregnant. I had been on Depo for 3 years prior to that. I got on Depo around like 14, and then I got off it around like 17, and then I started doing the pill, and then I just stopped at almost 18. So I hadn't been on for like 3.5 years, and we just didn't get pregnant. So I was just like, I really just didn't believe I could get pregnant. I was trying to see and learn my body within those 4 months before we actually started trying and stuff. I would research and think about it and, you know, do all that. This was 4 months before he went to Afghanistan. I was researching and doing all this stuff. He went to Afghanistan. He came back a year later, and that's when we decided, like, let's just seriously try. And I had already done my research. I had already figured out my body. I had already been charting. I had already been, you know, doing all those things. So I combined the OPKs and the pre-seed, and we actually tried for 2 months, and I got pregnant within the 2nd month. So definitely try this out. I'm telling you guys, try it. Like, I was determined to get pregnant, and these are the things that I did. I hope I helped you guys, and I hope I helped some of the people who are actually infertile. I would definitely love to help some people out that did not know these things about their body. Definitely don't trust your husband. I did, however, ask him, you know, go to the doctor, figure out, you know, if you are all right, up to par, you know, start wearing some loose drawers, okay? You don't want the area where the sperm lives, you don't want that to be tight to your skin, because that kind of keeps the body temperature off, so that kind of messes with them too. So I was telling them little tips here and there, buying them different types of underwear, like you are a part of this, okay? But I didn't pressure him. So definitely don't pressure him, don't pressure yourself. Remember to relax. It will happen when it's going to happen. And that's it. I hope I helped. Love y'all. I'll talk to you later.